Over the past decade, the craft beer industry has boasted some pretty impressive feats of growth. It seems like every time I turn a corner, I'm discovering another new amazing tap room. There are nearly 7,500 craft breweries in the US, 1,000 opened in 2018 alone. Those breweries now directly employ over 150,000 Americans and affect well over 500,000 jobs. Small breweries boasted $76 billion in sales in 2018, an 11% increase over 2016, with 5% overall sales growth in that same year. The trend is no different here. There were 35 craft breweries in Minnesota in 2011 when the Surly Law was passed. Today, we're approaching 200. That is some amazing growth in this industry over a very short period of time. The Twin Cities are the epicenter for Minnesota craft breweries. There are so many new and iconic tap rooms here that it can be overwhelming, even for beer lovers. We'll be getting intimate with a handful of them over the course of this series. And with so many legendary destinations to choose from, there's no way we can go wrong. So gather around the bar with me as I talk to these incredibly talented brewers about how this stuff is made. We're going to find out what all this hype is about and get to the bottom of a few cold ones. Let's all make a toast to the craft. Today, we're headed to Urban Growler Brewing Company. We're on our way to St. Paul's industrial Midway neighborhood. And if you didn't know it, you might not guess there was a brewery tucked all the way back here. Owners Master Brewer Deb and co-head honcho Jill opened their doors in July 2014 and have since made a huge splash in the craft brew scene. Urban Growler is the first female-owned craft brewery in Minnesota, a feat that sets this place apart as a truly one-of-a-kind establishment. And I'm sure it comes with its own set of rewards and challenges. I can't wait to find out more. Look at this place. This is massive. And this beer garden is, I think, the biggest patio I've ever seen at a brewery ever. It looks incredibly historic too, and I cannot wait to find out more about that. I'm sure that Deb and Jill put a lot of thought behind where Urban Growler should live. So let's head inside and find out more.
Hello.
Hi, Jill.
Yes, hi, Diana.
Hi, I'm Diana.
Nice to meet you.
So good to meet you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's great to be here. So look at this gorgeous, immense space.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's gorgeous. I love the brick.
Yes, we fell in love with the space as soon as we walked through the door.
I bet.
We had looked at close to 100 different buildings, and when we found this space with these lattice steel beams that have the Carnegie name stamped on it, it's the same lattice weld as the Duluth Lift Bridge and the beautiful Chaska brick. We're like, this screams beer hall to us.
Absolutely. It's perfect. It seems so historic, but it's also
Yes.
really cozy for
Yeah,
being...
there's a whole lot of history in this building.
I bet.
Yes.
And it looks like it continues.
Yes.
The brewery keeps going.
There's like, in this building, 60,000 square feet, which we have roughly 20,000 square feet of it. We share it with the Deneen Pottery family.
Oh, okay.
And they make beautiful mugs, small family business
That's amazing.
with 70 employees.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening in this neighborhood. It's called the Creative Enterprise Zone.
Is it?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yep, there's glass blowers, there's vintage, there's record dealers, there's clothing, kite makers, you name it. And it's what we say is that we're making it here. So we're making a living here doing our craft, and we're doing craft beer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think there are a number of other breweries in the area too, is that right?
Yes, there's roughly 6, like within a mile of us.
Gosh.
So it's becoming a craft beer destination.
And are your relationships with the nearby breweries camaraderie or
Yes.
competitive?
Absolutely. We are, somebody called it collaboration or something like that. We collaborate, but we're also competitors of each other. But we'll lend each other growler caps or grain or whatever people need.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's just such a tight community. It's unlike anything I've ever been involved with.
And I understand that this brewery is really committed to
forging community and
Yes.
being a presence in the community and supporting each other. Can you tell me about that?
Well, when Deb and I talked about what we wanted to do, it was so important to us to bring people together because we know what it's like to feel like an outsider. And so that was our mission. We're bringing people together through beer.
That's
and
amazing.
doing what we can to represent the community that we're in. You know, we're 6 blocks from university. It's a beautifully diverse community, all different cultures, and it's really important to us that everyone feel welcome here.
Well, I absolutely feel welcome.
Oh, good.
Thank you for having
Absolutely.
me.
Yes.
Now, I know you haven't always been in the beer business.
Right.
You and Deb both come from pretty different backgrounds, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, Deb and I met almost 15 years ago, and we had our first date at a craft beer bar. So who knew that that would be our future together? But Deb and we met, and she learned that I had had a couple small businesses, and she's like, I'd love to own a small business someday. And so it was something we talked about pretty regularly. Someday we should do this. You know, some people have a dream of someday I want to own a fat tire bike, or I want to pay off my school loan. Our someday we want to have a brewery together. And it wasn't like it came to us just like that, but Deb has been a home brewer since the 90s, and we would sit and drink her home brew and just be like, what should we do together? And then it finally was like, hello, the answer is staring us in our face. So Deb is a biomedical engineer. She was a project manager in the medical device world. I was a straight commission salesperson. So people are my passion, science and beer are her passion. So we brought both our desires together, and we have Urban Growler.
That seems perfect. This is a perfect fit.
Well, thank you.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Well, it was 6 years to get open. So it was really important to us to be attractive to banks. And so we fully immersed ourselves in the industry. I worked at restaurants and liquor stores to learn why they carry the craft beer they carry and to learn about the food side. Deb quit her biomedical engineering job to become an assistant brewer in Wisconsin, and then eventually at Summit Brewing. And then we moved to California so Deb could get her master's in brewing. It sounds like, oh, yay, yes, we want to open a brewery, and we opened. It wasn't that easy.
Right.
There was a whole lot more involved. It was a whole lot more involved than that.
Jill, tell me about the motto here, beer for you. Is that right?
Yes, we're beer for you. So that happened when I used to be on a softball team, and we were in planning, and I was telling my team, like, we need a cool tagline under our logo. And my team was sitting around, there's like 14 of us talking, and somebody threw out, we're beer for you. And I'm like, who said that? And nobody would own it. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, that is so perfect. We're beer for you. They didn't own it. I'm like, I'll give you a pint for every visit for a year. Just tell. And it was like they were really soft-spoken about it. I found out who it was, a dear friend who works at one of the local universities here. And it was perfect. And it's exactly what we're about. It encompasses everything we're about. We're beer for you.
I'm noticing a lot of serendipity in your story, and I love that. I think this is all meant to be.
We think so too.
Oh my gosh.
Despite what banks thought,
Yes.
we agree.
I feel like I've just been touched by an angel. I think I'm done. Like, my day is done, and tomorrow I need to start brewing my own beer, to start my own brewery, and
Please do
I'll
it.
be ready to pave the way for even more women and girls.
We
and
would love it.
anyone. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go check out how the beer is made. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your stories.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're back now in production with Simon, our head brewer. Simon, great to meet you.
Hi,
Diana.
nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's we're here on a hoppin' day, no pun intended. What's going on back here today?
Today's a production day, so we're making beer. Paige is up on the deck, and we're making Kentucky Uncommon today.
Oh, wonderful. I saw that on the menu. I got to try that later.
Yeah.
Cool. So where are we in the process?
She's going into the boil. So she's boiling, actually boiling the beer right now, or the wort, which is what we call the beer before it becomes alcoholic.
Great. So we still have a little bit more time to go before this is ready.
Yeah, a couple hours.
Wonderful. And you're relatively new here, am I right?
I am new here. Yeah, it's my
Nice.
second month here.
Oh, well, welcome to Minneapolis.
Thanks.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Toronto, Canada,
Oh,
but
wonderful.
I moved here from New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay, so you're used to the cold. That's no...
Very used to the cold.
That's no different for
It's
you.
warm here, actually.
Oh, good. Welcome to the warm. Tell me about your function in terms of creating recipes, whether it's here or at previous establishments. What do you like to do? How do you approach making a new beer?
Well, it depends on what marketing is looking for. So in the spring or summer, we're usually looking for paler, lighter colored beers with a lighter flavor, less flavor intensity, more drinkable, something with fruitier flavors. Whereas in the winter, we tend to go for beers that are darker, more robust flavors, more intense flavors. And that tends to be what people's tastes change, the direction people's tastes change over the year during
Now,
the seasons.
Is there anything on tap here today that you have brought with you, or do we get to taste something that you've created in a couple months?
We just tapped a sour cherry stout that we had just done. So it's a stout as a base beer, and then we added pureed sour cherries. So it has a little bit of a chocolate and coffee flavor mixed with a sour cherry flavor. It's kind of like a chocolate cherry cake.
Oh my God, yum.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll have to try that. Tell me about the naming process for beers. Do you get creative input in that?
Sometimes it's a little bit of a
Okay.
brainstorming thing. You sort of have to just think about it until a name you like comes to you, and then you run it by the whole team and everyone talks about it until we settle on something we all like.
That's fair. I know that this brewery is really focused on giving back to the local community and using local ingredients when possible. So can you talk about how easy or difficult it is to get local ingredients and how availability factors into what beers you make?
Well, we're lucky here because the largest malting plant in the world is the Rahr malting plant, and it's very close by. It's just in the city. So we get a lot of our ingredients, not all of them, but lots of them from the Rahr malting plant. So it's locally produced, and it's the biggest plant in the world. Definitely worth checking out. We're gonna try and take a trip over there and check it out soon. So
Absolutely, that's incredible. I'm getting more familiar with the layout of a brewery, but can you tell me what I'm looking at here?
okay, well we have in terms of the cooking equipment, we have a 4-vessel brew house. So that's these 4 tanks behind us.
Okay.
On the back left is our hot water tank.
Okay.
So that's where all of our treated brewing water gets heated, and then we use that for all the rest of the steps in the process.
Okay.
On the far back right, that's where the mixer is. It's the cereal mixer or the mash mixer. So that's where we put all the crushed grains and mix it with water, stir it up. We bring it up to a certain temperature where the enzymatic activity starts to happen, and that is where the starches in the grains break down into the less complex carbohydrates that we then turn into the alcohol.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as a brewer of your capacity that you can kind of plop into any brewery and you'd be able to figure it out?
With enough time.
With enough time? Okay.
As long as it's not too complex.
Okay.
Some breweries are much more complex than this one.
Really? Okay. Okay. So I know that you're relatively new here. Can you tell me about what got you into brewing?
Yeah, this is my second month here. I actually used to work as a camera assistant and as a DVD menu maker.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So at some point I decided that I wanted to get into brewing. I started working in the tap room, doing retail and tasting. And then from there I went to school for production. I actually went to Munich, Germany and learned how to make beer. I came back, I worked at a few different breweries in Toronto, Canada. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I helped start a small brewery in New Brunswick, Canada. In 2018, went really well. We won Best New Brewery in Atlantic, Canada. My amber ale recipe came second in Atlantic, Canada for that year. So it was exciting.
Nice job.
Thank you.
I love ambers.
Yeah, it's
I'll have
great.
to come back if you make that recipe. I don't know if it's like trademark secret, but
We may
Yeah.
gotta change it a little bit.
yeah, there you go. Wow, that's so great. So
Yeah,
you
it's
just
great.
had a passion for it and you followed that through.
Yeah, just pursued it.
That's
and
amazing.
here
How
I am.
long were you in Germany?
Oh, it's not a long, it was like a 2-year, but it was split up. I went back and forth a couple times.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What's your favorite beer here?
I actually like the beer we're making today, the Kentucky Uncommon.
Okay.
It's like a light amber ale but it has a lot of complexity to it. We use a lot of different malts that have some intense flavors, but in small amounts. So it has a really complex, but not overly intense flavor.
That sounds wonderful. I'm gonna have to add that to my now very long list of beers I gotta go try. Thank you so much.
Good. Well, thank you very much for coming to visit.
Oh my God, my pleasure. I'm gonna go try some of your beers.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, I've learned everything I think there is to know now about Urban Growler. That there's just one more piece to this puzzle.
Oh, this is the most important piece too.
It is. I can't wait that we're here. I'm so pumped. Okay, tell me about what I'm seeing.
All right. So, well, I brought all of these beers out on our beautiful flight boards because they actually are very symbolic. It is one part of our logo, which is the circle part of it. It's a couple of different things. So the first thing is Deb and Jill were inspired by Mountain Sun Brewing in Colorado. So obviously their logo is a sun, so we wanted to draw on that aspect of it. The second part is that you can kind of tell that there's like some hooks that almost look like kind of like a harvest hook, kind of drawing in that cloud of pint idea that we're supporting local farmers. And then lastly, it's a circle because we do believe beer brings people together and that we're trying to unify. Like that's our purpose.
I love that. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful.
So I guess we'll start. This is how I tell people to start too. Start here and then go all the way around.
Okay.
So we'll start right here with the Cowbell Cream Ale.
Okay.
This is our bread and butter. This is our flagship. It's super light, super easy drinking. It is the converter for the people that drink the light lagers into the ale world. So you can kind of get it on the nose. There's just like a light breadiness, but it's not overwhelming with hops or anything like that. So
Very
cheers, let's get
Cheers.
started.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's refreshing.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a light bitterness from the light hops, but at the same time, it's super smooth, super easy drinking. A misconception with a lot of cream ales is that there's going to be milk in there because that's where the cream is. But it's actually because we put flaked maize into the mash. That's what adds that smooth lightness in body.
Wow. Is that across the board for all cream ales?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So Spotted Cow, Castle Danger Cream Ale, anyone else that's brewing a good cream ale, it's all about the corn.
Wow. See, I didn't know everything there was to know about Urban Growler after all.
We put a cute little cow on our can to make sure people know that.
Perfect.
It's farm related specifically. And I said we were going to go in a circle, but I'm actually going to jump to this middle one here.
Okay.
I think this will be better for our palates.
Okay.
So the next one we have here is our Vanilla Latte Blonde Ale. So we actually first featured it at the Minnesota State Fair 2019 at the hangar, and it was so popular that we actually put it in cans. And it's actually coming out in cans again at the end of this month.
Oh.
So
wow.
Let's start with the nose.
Okay.
It smells like coffee.
Oh my God.
It smells like a roasty cup of coffee.
Yeah. That smells delicious.
But the reason why it tricks your mind is because you're expecting something dark and you're expecting the coffeeness, but you're like, okay, well, it's light.
Yeah.
It's enticing.
It is. You know, I'm not really a coffee drinker, but this for me is doable.
Yes.
I feel like I can join the coffee community now or have like a breakfast beer.
Oh, it's definitely a breakfast beer.
Yeah.
It'll like keep you alert, wake you up in the morning.
Absolutely. I'll tell my mom that. She'll be like, Diana.
You got to do quality assessment happens best in the morning. Your peak palate is from 9 to 11. So
really?
Beer is essentially meant to be drank in the morning.
I'm going to tell her that.
Yes, you should tell her that. So moving to the other side of the paddle, we have our plum grisette. So as I mentioned it before, we incorporate local ingredients into our beer. So this one is actually plums from Wisconsin, because Deb is from Wisconsin. But trying to create that circle environment of we're supporting each other, trying to support our passions, and just, make it here and be small business owners. So this one, grisette, actually means little saison in French, because the French farmers at the end of the day would just want to have a little saison. So it's actually light in body, but it's also very light in ABV.
Okay, perfect.
So it's got a nice little saison breadiness in the nose, Belgian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, after a long day's work.
It's crisp, but it still has that full body to it a little bit. And then it's sweet with the plums. It also looks kind of pink from the plums
gorgeous.
as well. It's
this
very
is
pretty.
A gorgeous beer. I almost don't want to drink it, but it's so good that I'm definitely going to drink it. Wow.
And there are so many more beers to try. I know they're brewing today, so we're just ready to keep rolling with the punches on it.
Well, I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye that there are several other taps over there that I might investigate. I might have to
Get
pour
a
myself,
flight.
I might have to pour myself a flight, and I know so much about the flight now that it'll have an extra connection.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Yes, of
sharing this. I'm gonna go
course.
grab another couple.
Cheers. Go
baby
help
beers.
yourself. Yeah,
Thank
enjoy.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, this is Urban Growler. Congrats to Deb and Jill for making Urban Growler Brewing Company the first female-owned brewery in Minnesota. And with beer for you as their motto, I'd say there's absolutely a place at the bar for everyone, not just ladies, in this beer community. This brewery fits right in with the robust and ever-changing Midway neighborhood taproom community, proving, once again, you don't have to look very far to see that the Twin Cities are a true utopian paradise for beer lovers, and even for a fledgling like myself. Check out Urban Growler's website calendar. There's always a new beer, a fun event, or something interesting planned here. Or stop by for lunch. The taproom opens at 11:30, Tuesday through Sunday, and they have an in-house kitchen with an amazing menu. All of these taprooms wouldn't be here if there weren't over 1 million American homebrewers passionately improving upon and honing their recipes over the years. And I hope you learned as much about this exciting industry as I did through our journey through some of the Twin Cities' amazing spots, offering up creative ways to try new brews. Who knows? Maybe we'll see you at the bar at a different brewery enjoying this labor of love, or leisure, really, for soaking up the suds that allows us to discover the craft.